Hi everyone, welcome to Tech on Cloud, and this is your host Abhishek Kushwaha, and I am back with another lecture for Docker Fundamentals series, and this would be our day 5. And today, in this lecture, I would be talking about Docker run tag command, and then I would be talking about port mapping. Okay, so as you can see on the screen, there is a slide for docker run tag command. And what's the work of this command? This command helps to run the Docker specified version of images. Okay, as you can see in Docker Fundamentals Day 3 lecture, that I was running a docker run command with a Ubuntu image. Okay, but the thing was that there was no specified version of the image, due to which it was fetching the default image locally, and the default is the latest one. Okay, but if we want to run the certain version of image, then we should run it with something like you are seeing in the screen shot, that is sudo docker run ubuntu, and with the colon separation it should be 17.04. so the 17.04 is the version here. Okay, and this version is the only tag which I am referring. Okay, as you can see, after running that command, it asks me for my sudo password, and when I gave the password, it searched for that version locally, and if it is not present, then it is pulling it up. Okay, that's what docker run command do. Now let's move to the second most important part for the Docker Fundamentals Day 5, is that port mapping. So what is port mapping? A port mapping refers to establish a connection between a Docker container and a user machine to run the same application. If we want to use the port mapping feature, we have to use a docker run command with -p tag. Okay, as you can see on the screen, there is the command which is highlighted in bold, which is docker run -p and outside port colon for mapping it with the inside port and the name of the container and the image name and the image version. Okay, so what this outside port and inside port refers to? Outside port is the port number for which app can run on any machine, and the inside port is the port number declared in your app. So this command is basically for combining the container and the machine and providing the feature to access the application from ports. Okay, this explanation may be clear to some, but maybe not clear to all. Okay, so let's move to see a practical implementation of the port mapping. Okay, let's go to a terminal and try to run some commands and see how we are using this port mapping. Okay, as you can see on the screen, there is my terminal open. There is my old run stuff here. I will just clear it with the help of clear command, and now I would be going inside the directory where I have created a folder port mapping. Okay, so let me go there. if I do a ls here, I have already created Docker file and initialize a go mode command and a main and main.go. Okay. Now let's see what is there in main.go. For that I would be running cat main.go. Yeah, here it gives me the contents for the file main.go, and it is not very complex code. It is just a simple web program which is running on a server and displaying hello world. Okay, now let's see what is there in our Docker file. So here is the example of the Docker file, and it says that the from command, there is various command implemented in this file, and the first command, which is from Golang latest, it says use an official Golang runtime as a parent image. Then we are setting up the working directory to go/src/app. src refers to a source. Okay, then we are copying the current directory contents into the container at this path, that is go/source/app. Now we are building the Go app and we are exposing the port at 8080. Now at last we are running a cmd command which will run our Go app when the container starts. Okay, now let's do a thing. Let's try to run this Docker file, build an image, tag it, and try to run the application. Okay, so let's do that. First of all, I will clear the terminal. Then I would be doing a pwd to know my path. Then I would be doing sudo, because my Docker works on root, docker build and this path. Another thing which I can use to make it simple is use a version controlling method and create a make file just to make the thing simpler. But yeah, but our demonstration, this will work for you to understand. Let me get here the port mapping. Now let me hit enter. It will ask me for a password. As you can see, my image is getting start to build. Okay, it will take some time. Yeah, it is built. Now let's see, using the command sudo docker images, whether the image is created. Yeah, okay, so this is the image basically which I created for testing purpose around 1 hour ago, but we can use that only to run our app, so it would be a time consuming. So let me tag it and we can use that. Okay, let me clear the screen, use that command again, docker, no, it should be sudo docker, then it should be hyphen, it should be tag command and that image id, which is 3ddd e49 t then 4 dba. Okay, and we have to name it, suppose go app 1. Press enter. Yeah, it executed without any output. That means the tag is being changed. And let's go and run that command again. Yeah, we see the repository is named go app1 and the tag is given there, the latest. Okay, now let's run that command. Okay, but for running that command we would be using the port mapping feature. Okay, so as I told, that port mapping would be done with a certain command which I gave you syntax for that command, but here I have already tagged my image and named it, so I would be just using the name of that image itself to run the program. Okay, let's map that. So what I am doing, let me open a file which is main.go. Here I have declared here that this should serve and listen at port 5000. Okay, so this would do what? If you compare with the command for outside port, and there was one more that is inside port. So here it will be the outside port, which would be the Dockerfile port, and the inside port which will be the 5000 port, which is our main app port. Okay, if you go and see the slide definition one more time, it is straight away written that inside port is the port declared in your app, which is main.go file. Okay, now let's open the Docker file, which is our outside port. It would be exposing our app on the browser. Okay guys, so that's the command expose used in the Docker file. Let me show you quickly. See, this AT-AT is exposing it to the outside world, and it is mapped to port 5000. So whenever any request comes, then it would be directed to this port 5000, and it is what known as port mapping. Okay, this request expose AT-AT, whenever this will be hit, then this would be called. Okay, but our application is not live. Okay, we are building it for a demo perspective, then we would be running it manually. Okay, let's clear all the stuff in the screen and run our command to see the output straight away. Okay, so we build the Docker image and tag it with the name go app1, and the dot at the end of the command specifies the build context. Okay, now clear the screen. It should be clear command working here. Yeah, let's write the docker run port map command. Sudo docker run -p. So -p is the tag which is used, or we can say that a flag which is used for port mapping. Now we will take our outside port, which is the port at the Docker file, which is AT-AT. Let's type it here, then colon, and then the inside port, which is 5000, not 500, 5000, and the name of the repository, that is Go app and what you say, that is name 1. Yeah, now let's run it. See, it's blinking. That means if you go and fetch in the browser with the calling a local host with the port 8080, you will be seeing the output of the program. Okay, let's move to the browser and see the final output. Okay, now we are on a terminal browser. Let's run here http localhost colon 8080 and try to see whether we get the output of the program. Okay, yep, we see hello world here, and now we saw that how the port mapping works here. Okay, now let's move back to the slide. Yep, we saw the whole of the process for the port mapping. I hope you all understand it. If not, please feel free to comment out in the comment box and let's discuss it out. And this is all for today.